Hello everyone, and welcome to English in Fluency. My name is Alex, and I am so genuinely happy that you have chosen to be here with us today. This is your dedicated space to practice your English, to really improve your listening comprehension, and to think about interesting, important ideas that matter to you and to your life. Our whole purpose here is to help you build the skills and, just as importantly, the confidence you need using clear, understandable English. Today, we are going to dive deep into a topic that I believe every single person on this planet struggles with. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are from, or what you do. The topic is, don't wait for tomorrow, how small daily habits change your life. I want to start by asking you a personal question. Do you have a big goal? A really big, beautiful, and maybe even slightly terrifying goal? Perhaps your main goal is to become truly fluent in English. You dream of the day you can watch a movie without subtitles, or have a deep, fast conversation with a native speaker and not feel stressed or lost. That is a wonderful goal. Or maybe your dream is different. Maybe you want to start your own business. You dream of being your own boss. Or perhaps you want to get healthy, to feel strong and full of energy. Maybe you want to write a book, or learn to play the guitar, or even just have a clean and organized home. These goals are what make us feel alive. They inspire us. They give us something to look forward to. But what usually happens? We feel this huge, incredible burst of excitement. We go to the store and buy new notebooks. We download the new app. We tell our friends and family, "This is it. I'm finally going to do it." And then, the next day comes. The excitement starts to fade, and the reality of the work sets in. We don't see the beautiful finished goal anymore. We see the size of the mountain we have to climb. We see the thousands of steps between here and there. That goal, which was so inspiring yesterday, suddenly starts to look overwhelming. That is a fantastic B2 word, and it's the key to this whole conversation. Overwhelming. It means something is so large, so difficult, or so complicated that you feel completely unable to handle it. You feel small and defeated before you even start. And when we human beings feel overwhelmed, what do? We almost always tell ourselves a little, comforting, and very dangerous lie. We say, "I'm just too busy today." Or we say, "I'm not ready yet. I need to do more research first." Or we use the most famous and most popular one of all time, "I will start tomorrow." Ah, tomorrow. Tomorrow is a magical, beautiful place, isn't it? In our minds, the us of tomorrow is a completely different person. The us of tomorrow will be perfectly motivated. We will be energetic. We will be well-rested. Tomorrow, we will have more free time. The us of tomorrow is a superhero. Tomorrow, the perfect conditions will finally arrive, and we will be ready to begin our great, epic journey. But here is the problem. The simple, sad truth that we all know deep down in our hearts. When tomorrow finally arrives, it is no longer called tomorrow. It is called today. And we wake up, and we are not superheroes. We are just us. We are the same person we were yesterday. We are still tired. We are still busy. The house is still messy. The perfect conditions have not magically appeared. And so, that big, overwhelming goal looks just as overwhelming as it did yesterday. And what do? We push it off again. We buy ourselves another tomorrow. This is a pattern. It is a loop, or a cycle, that millions of us get stuck in, sometimes for our entire lives. We live in a state of almost starting. We are always waiting for the perfect time to begin. But the truth, the real truth, is that the perfect time does not exist. The perfect time is an illusion. It is a story we tell ourselves so we don't have to face the discomfort of starting. This episode, today, is about breaking that illusion. It's about shattering that pattern. It's about changing our entire mindset, our entire way of thinking about goals and progress. We are going to stop waiting for motivation. We are going to stop looking for giant leaps forward. Instead, we are going to focus on the quiet, secret, but incredibly powerful magic of small, consistent daily actions. We are going to learn, together, how to stop waiting for tomorrow, and instead, how to win today, even if it's just a small victory. As we explore this powerful idea, you will be doing something amazing for yourself. You will be practicing your B2 level English listening skills. I will be using natural expressions, common phrasal verbs, and new vocabulary. And I will make sure to explain them as we go, so you are learning in context. So please, find a comfortable place. Settle in, relax, and let's begin this very important journey. First, let's talk more about why we do this. Why do we procrastinate? That is the official, formal word for this behavior. Procrastination. It means to delay or put off doing something that you should be doing, usually because it is unpleasant or difficult. It's important to know, right away, that procrastination is not simply laziness. That is a terrible mistake people make. People who procrastinate are often very, very busy. They are suddenly cleaning their entire kitchen. They are organizing their email inbox. They are paying bills, running errands, or helping a friend. They are doing everything except the one big, important thing they know they should be doing. Procrastination is not a problem of time management. It is a problem of emotion management. It is almost always a form of stress relief. When you think about your giant, overwhelming goal, let's stick with our example. Become fluent in English. Your brain does not just see the happy, successful result. Your brain is a survival machine. It sees the threats. It sees the thousands of hours of study. It sees the difficult grammar, like conditional tenses, the subjunctive mood, or phrasal verbs. It sees the fear of making a mistake, the fear of speaking to a native speaker and freezing, the fear of sounding stupid, the fear of trying your hardest and still failing. All of this is stressful. It's very uncomfortable. And your brain, which has evolved over millions of years to protect you from pain, discomfort, and danger, sounds an alarm. It says, "Whoa, this is too big. This is too scary. This is uncomfortable. Let's avoid this feeling. Let's do something easier, something that feels good right now." And suddenly, watching another funny video on YouTube, scrolling through social media, or even cleaning the bathroom feels much, much safer and more comfortable. By avoiding the big, scary task, we get a little bit of immediate relief. The stress goes down for a moment. But here is the problem. This relief is temporary. It is very short-lived. It only lasts for a few minutes or a few hours. And later, what do we feel? We feel guilt. We feel shame. We feel even more stressed because now we have the original stress of the big goal, plus the new stress of knowing we wasted our time. We are stressed about being stressed. This is what we call a vicious cycle. A vicious cycle is a negative pattern of behavior where one bad thing causes another bad thing, which then makes the first bad thing even worse. Our stress about the goal makes us procrastinate. Our procrastination makes us feel guilty and more stressed. This increased stress makes us want to procrastinate even more, and we are trapped. This problem is often made worse by something called perfectionism. Perfectionism is the belief that you must do something perfectly, or you should not do it at all. This is a very common trap. A perfectionist says, "I want to start learning English, but I need to find the perfect textbook first. I must research all the best apps. I need to find the perfect teacher. I must design the perfect study schedule." So, what do? They spend weeks or even months getting ready. They are researching, but they are not learning. This getting ready is just a very smart, very well-disguised form of procrastination. They are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan. But as we've already said, the perfect plan doesn't exist. And so, they never start. They are waiting for tomorrow. So, how do we break this vicious cycle? How do we escape this trap of overwhelm and perfectionism? We do it with a radical and almost laughably simple solution. We make the task so small that it does not trigger our brain's fear response. We stop focusing on the destination, the top of the mountain, the fluent part. We forget about it. Instead, we focus only on the very next step. And, this is the most important part, that next step must be so small, so simple, so easy, that it feels ridiculous not to do it. The goal is to make it so small that your brain doesn't even see it as a task. It doesn't sound the alarm. Let's go back to our goal of becoming fluent. That is the mountain. What is the tiny, tiny pebble we can move today? Maybe it's not study English for 2 hours. That is a huge, overwhelming goal for a busy person. It will trigger the stress response. Maybe it's not even study English for 30 minutes. Maybe it is just this: I will learn 5 new vocabulary words. That's it. Just 5. Can you do that? Even on your busiest, most tired day, can you find the time and energy to learn 5 new words? Of course you can. It might take you 10 minutes. It doesn't feel scary. It doesn't require a huge, mystical wave of motivation. You just do it. It seems tiny. It feels insignificant. That's a very useful word. Insignificant. It means too small or unimportant to be worth consideration. You might think, this is pointless. How can learning just 5 words a day ever make me fluent? This will take forever. That is the sound of your old, overwhelmed brain trying to pull you back into the all-or-nothing trap. But here is the magic. You ignore that voice. You just do your tiny task. You learn your 5 words, and you check it off. You won the day. And tomorrow, you don't try to do an hour. You just do your tiny task again. You learn 5 more words. And you do it the day after that, and the day after that. Let's do the math. 5 words a day. After 1 week, you've learned 35 new words. That's good. After 1 month, you've learned over 150 new words. That's very good. After 1 full year of this tiny, insignificant habit, you have learned 1,825 new words. Is 1,825 words insignificant? Absolutely not. That is a massive, powerful, transformative change. You have built a serious vocabulary, and you did it without ever feeling overwhelmed. You did it without needing motivation. You did it by taking a step so small, it was easy to take. You climbed the entire mountain, but you did it 1 tiny, painless pebble at a time. This magic has a name. It is often called the compound effect. You have probably heard this term used when talking about money. It's the idea that if you put a small amount of money in a savings account, It earns a little bit of interest. But then, the next year, that interest that you earned starts earning its own interest. And over many, many years, that tiny, small deposit, that insignificant amount of money, can grow and compound into a large fortune. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens so slowly at first that you can't even see it. And then, it seems to happen all at once. The exact same principle, the exact same law of the universe applies to our habits. A small, positive habit, when you do it consistently, day after day, compounds over time and leads to remarkable results. Remarkable means worth noticing or amazing. The results are truly amazing. Let's think about this with a different analogy. I love this one. Imagine you have a giant ice cube and you are sitting in a very cold room. The room is -5 degrees Celsius. The ice cube is frozen solid. It's not going anywhere. Your goal is to melt the ice cube. So you put in some effort, you turn up the heat in the room by 1 degree. The temperature is now -4 degrees Celsius. You look at the ice cube. What has changed? Nothing. It is still a solid block of ice. You feel frustrated. You put in more effort. You raise the temperature to -3 degrees. You look again. Still, nothing. It's just a block of ice. -2 degrees. Nothing. -1 degree. Nothing. This is the point where almost everyone quits. They say, "This is stupid. I've been putting in all this effort. I've been turning up the heat, and nothing is changing. This isn't working. I'm wasting my time." They give up. But let's say you are different. You are persistent. You trust the process. You add 1 more degree of effort. The temperature in the room hits 0 degrees Celsius. And suddenly, magically, the ice cube begins to melt. Water starts to form on its surface. The change, the breakthrough, didn't happen because of that 1 final degree. It was not a sudden event. It was the result of all the work you did before. It was the accumulation of all those single degrees that came before it. The ones that looked like they were doing nothing. Your small daily habits, learning your 5 words, writing 1 paragraph, walking for 5 minutes. These are those single degrees. For the first week, or the first month, or even longer, you may not see any visible change. This period is often called the Valley of Disappointment. This is a very important concept. The Valley of Disappointment is that place in time where your expectations are higher than your results. You expect to be making fast progress, but your results are so small you can't see them. This is the -3 degree, -2 degree, -1 degree phase. You are making progress. The ice is getting warmer, but you have no visible proof. This is the most dangerous part of building any new habit. This is where you are most likely to quit. You must trust that the work you are doing is changing you. You have to trust that the process is working, even if you cannot see the results yet. You are raising the temperature 1 degree at a time. The melting will happen. The breakthrough will come. Let's look at this through a more human story. Let's imagine a woman named Clara. Clara has a big, beautiful dream. She wants to write a novel. She has had this idea for a story for 10 years. She dreams about it. She talks about it. She has even told her friends and family, and they often ask her, "Hey Clara, how's that book coming along?" And every time they ask, she feels a small, sharp pain of shame. Because the book is not coming along. The book doesn't exist, so she decides, this is the year. She gets a new laptop. She buys some books on how to write a novel. She makes a big, ambitious plan. she will dedicate every Saturday to writing. Saturday will be her writing day. The first Saturday comes. She's excited. She wakes up early, makes her coffee, sits down at her new laptop, and opens a new blank document. And she just stares. She stares at the blinking cursor on the endless white page. And that feeling of overwhelm washes over her. How can I possibly write 300 pages, she thinks. Where do I even start? What if it's terrible? What if I'm a bad writer? She feels intense anxiety. So she decides she just needs one more cup of coffee. And while she's making it, she decides to quickly check her email. And then she remembers she needs to research 19th century maps for her story. And then she looks up some articles on how to write a good first chapter. This is all perfectionism and procrastination. Before she knows it, it's 3 p.m. The day is gone, and the page is still blank. This happens for 3 Saturdays in a row. Clara feels like a complete failure. Her big, beautiful dream is just making her feel terrible about herself. So, she is ready to quit. But then, she hears about this idea of tiny habits. She decides to try something new, something that feels stupid. She gives up on her big, ambitious goal of writing her novel. She gives up on writing every Saturday. She creates a new, tiny, ridiculously small goal. Her new goal is, I will write 1 paragraph. That's it. Not a chapter. Not even a full page. Just 1 single paragraph. And she won't wait for Saturday. She'll do it on Monday, right after she gets home from work. So, Monday comes. She's tired. But she sits down. The goal isn't scary. 1 paragraph? I can do that. And she does. It takes her 15 minutes. It's not a great paragraph, it's not perfect. But it's done. She closes the laptop. And she doesn't feel overwhelmed. She feels a tiny bit successful. The next day, Tuesday, she does it again. 1 more paragraph. And the next day. Some days, that 1 paragraph is very hard to write. But her rule is just to finish the 1 paragraph. Other days, something interesting happens. She writes her 1 paragraph. And she finds she's in the flow. She feels inspired. So she keeps going. She writes a whole page. But her rule, her minimum, is just 1 paragraph. She is not allowed to feel bad if she only writes 1 paragraph. That is still a 100% success for the day. She does this almost every day. Sometimes she misses a day, but she gets right back on track. Let's fast forward 1 year. Clara looks back. She has written hundreds and hundreds of paragraphs. Those paragraphs have become chapters. Those chapters have become a full, complete first draft of her novel. She didn't find 1 giant block of time to write a book. She didn't find a magic wave of motivation. She built a book. She built it out of tiny, daily, 15-minute blocks of consistency. She didn't rely on intensity. She relied on consistency. This brings us to our next big idea. Consistency is more important than intensity. We often believe that success is about big, intense efforts. We think we need to go to the gym for 2 hours. We think we need to study English for an entire 8-hour weekend. We cram for the test. But that kind of intensity is not sustainable. Sustainable is a key word. It means you are able to keep doing it for a long, long time. You can't go to the gym for 2 hours every day forever. You will get tired, you will get injured, or your life will just get in the way. You can't study English all weekend, every weekend. You have a family, friends, and a life. Intensity leads to burnout. Burnout is that feeling of complete physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion. Consistency is the opposite. It is small, it is gentle, it is sustainable. A 10-minute walk every day is infinitely better for your long-term health than one 2-hour workout once a month. Learning 5 new English words every day is better than a 4-hour study session once a month. Why? Because consistency builds something else. Something even more powerful than the habit itself. It builds momentum. Momentum, momentum, is a word from physics. It is the force that keeps an object moving. When you start a new, tiny habit, it's like trying to push a giant, heavy flywheel. Imagine a massive stone wheel, 10 feet tall. It hasn't moved in centuries. The first push you give it is incredibly hard. You push with all your might. It doesn't move. You feel like a fool. You come back the next day. You push again. It barely scrapes forward 1 millimeter. It's exhausting. This is the valley of disappointment. Most people quit here, but you don't. You come back every single day, and you give it one small push. After a month of pushing, the wheel groans and completes one full, slow rotation. It's still hard, but it's moving. After 6 months, you come and push, and the wheel spins 2 or 3 times on its own. It's easier now. After a year of daily pushes, that giant wheel is spinning. It's spinning so fast that it almost carries you. It has momentum. At this point, it becomes harder to stop the habit than to start it. It has become part of your routine. It has become automatic. Your job is not to spin the wheel in one day. Your job is not to achieve the giant goal today. Your job is simply to show up today and give the flywheel one more small, consistent push. Let's apply this to another area. Let's imagine a man named Ben. Ben's goal is to get healthy. This is a very common goal, but it is also a very vague goal. Vague, V-A-G-U-E, means it's not clear, not specific. What does get healthy even mean? Does it mean lose weight? Does it mean to eat better? Does it mean to run a marathon? Because his goal is so vague, it's impossible to know where to start or how to know if you've succeeded. This is a recipe for failure. So Ben, like many people, decides on a big, intense, specific goal to fix this. He says, I am going to run 5 kilometers every single day, starting tomorrow. Day 1 comes. He finds his old running shoes, he puts them on, he goes outside, and he starts to run. It is awful. It is terrible. After 30 seconds, his lungs are on fire. His legs hurt. He feels heavy. People are watching him. He feels embarrassed. But he pushes through. He walks. He jogs. He suffers. It takes him 45 minutes, but he finishes his 5 kilometers. He is proud. But he is also sore. He is in pain. For the next 3 days, he can barely walk. On day 4, his alarm goes off. It's time to run again. But Ben dreads it. To dread something means to feel extreme fear or reluctance about it. He remembers the pain. He remembers the embarrassment. His brain is screaming, "No! Do not do that again. That was dangerous." So he hits the snooze button. He tells himself, I'm still too sore. I'll just start again next Monday. But, as we know, next Monday never comes. Ben has failed, just like Clara with her novel. His goal was too big, too intense. It was unsustainable. So, let's restart Ben's story. Ben feels like a failure for a few months, but then he learns about tiny habits. He decides to try one more time, but this time he will make it laughably small. He creates a new, ridiculously tiny goal. His new goal is, I will put on my running shoes and walk to the end of my driveway. That is the entire habit. It takes 60 seconds. The first day, he does it. He puts on his shoes. He walks to the end of the driveway. He walks back. He feels a little silly. This is pointless, he thinks. This isn't exercise. But, and this is the important part, he also feels successful. He told himself he would do something, and he did it. He won. He didn't fail. He does this every day for a whole week. Put on shoes, walk to the end of the driveway, walk back. It's so easy. He never skips it. There is no dread. In the second week, he's standing at the end of his driveway, and he thinks, "You know, I'm already out here. My shoes are on. I might as well walk to the corner of the street." So he does. It takes him 3 minutes. Still easy. By the end of the month, he is comfortably walking around the entire block. It's a 10-minute walk. He doesn't dread it. It's just a quiet, pleasant part of his day. A few months after that, he's on his walk, and he feels good. He thinks, "You know, I feel a little energy. Maybe I'll try to jog just to that next lamppost." So he does. He jogs for 30 seconds, and he walks. Then he jogs again. Over the course of a full year, Ben naturally and slowly transforms. He never aimed to run 5 kilometers. He aimed to put his shoes on. But by focusing on that tiny, consistent, painless first step, a year later, he is a person who easily and happily runs 5 kilometers, 3 times a week. He didn't just change his behavior. He built an identity. This is the real secret. This is the deepest, most powerful part of this entire idea. The goal is not just to get a result, like a finished novel or a healthy body. The goal is to become a certain type of person. The problem with focusing only on the big external goal, like lose 20 kilos or run a marathon, is that you are, by definition, in a state of failure until you reach it. For all the months or years you are working, you are constantly telling yourself, "I am not there yet. I have not succeeded." You are reinforcing a feeling of lacking something. But when you shift your focus to the process, to the small daily habit, you change your entire mindset. Your goal is not to learn English. Your goal is to become an English learner. Your goal is not to write a novel. Your goal is to become a writer. Your goal is not to get healthy. Your goal is to become a healthy person. And how do you do that? How do you build a new identity? You prove it to yourself with small, daily wins. Think of it this way. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. This is a very important sentence. Let me say it again. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. When you sit down, even for just 10 minutes, and you learn your 5 new vocabulary words, you have just cast a vote for, "I am an English learner." When you sit down and write your 1 paragraph, you have just cast a vote for, "I am a writer." When you put on your running shoes and walk to the driveway, you have just cast a vote for, "I am a healthy person." When you are too tired and you choose to watch TV instead of doing your habit, you just cast a vote for, "I am not a healthy person." One single vote doesn't win the election. One single action doesn't change your beliefs about yourself overnight. But if you cast a vote today, and you cast another vote tomorrow, and you cast another vote the day after that, you start to accumulate evidence. You are building a case. You are providing proof to your own brain. After 100 days of learning 5 words, you don't just have more vocabulary. You believe, deep down, that you are an English learner. And once you truly believe that, your behavior changes naturally. You start to look for opportunities to learn. You start to enjoy the process. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are no longer waiting for tomorrow. because you are proving to yourself today who you really are. Let's add one more story. A woman named Sarah. Sarah's goal is to be less anxious. This is like Ben's goal. Very vague, very overwhelming. How do you do that? She reads that meditation is good for anxiety, so she downloads a popular meditation app. The app says, "Welcome. Let's start with your first 20-minute meditation." Sarah tries. She sits down, she closes her eyes, and for the next 20 minutes, her mind screams at her. She's not calm. She's thinking about emails, what to make for dinner, that embarrassing thing she said to her boss last week. It is 20 minutes of pure torture. She hates it. She finishes, feels more anxious, and quits. "Meditation doesn't work for me," she tells everyone. "My mind is too busy." Her goal was too big. The intensity was too high. So she tries the tiny habit approach. Her new, tiny, ridiculous goal is, "I will sit on a meditation cushion and take 3 intentional breaths." That's it. In, out, in, out, in, out. The whole habit takes 30 seconds. She does it. It's not life-changing. She doesn't have a magical breakthrough. But she did it. She cast a vote for "I am a calm person." She does this every morning. Just 3 breaths. It's so easy, she never skips. After a month of just 3 breaths, she sits down, and she naturally decides to take 5 breaths, then 10. After a few months, she sits down, and she feels like sitting for 2 whole minutes. A year later, Sarah is a person who meditates for 10 minutes every single morning. It didn't cure her anxiety, but it completely changed her relationship with it. She built a tool, a space. She became a person who meditates. She did it with 30-second votes for her new identity. So, how do we practically, right now, start this? We know the why. We need the how. A famous habit researcher at Stanford University, B.J. Fogg, has a simple formula. He says, for any behavior to happen, you need 3 things to come together at the same moment: motivation, ability, and a prompt. Motivation is your desire. Ability is how easy it is to do. And a prompt is the trigger or the reminder to do it. Now, we've already learned that motivation is unreliable. It is a fickle friend. It comes and goes, like the weather. So, we cannot build our system on motivation. That leaves us with ability and a prompt. These are the 2 things we can control. We should focus all our energy on these 2. Let's start with ability. This means making the habit as easy as humanly possible. We've talked about this. It's the 2-minute rule, a concept from the writer James Clear. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Read a book every night is too big. It becomes read 1 page. Practice guitar for an hour is too big. It becomes pick up the guitar and play 1 chord. Study English becomes open my textbook and do 1 grammar exercise. Clean my messy room becomes put 1 shirt in the hamper. The goal is not to get the result right away. The goal is to master the art of showing up. You are making the start of the habit so easy that you cannot say no. We call this lowering the friction. Friction is anything that makes a task harder. You want 0 friction for your good habits. What you will find, like Clara, is that more often than not, once you read that 1 page, you'll feel like reading a 2nd or a 3rd. Once you do that 1 grammar exercise, you'll think, okay, I can do 1 more. But here is the key. Even if you don't, even if you just read 1 single page and stop, you have still won. You have cast your vote for the day. You have maintained your consistency. You have given the flywheel its daily push. The second part of the formula is the prompt. A prompt is a trigger. It is a cue. It is a reminder to do your habit. You cannot and you must not rely on your memory. Your life is too busy. You will forget. You need to build a reminder into your physical environment. This is one of the most powerful strategies you will ever learn. We can call it environment design. You are literally being the architect of your own space to make your good habits obvious and your bad habits difficult. You want to make the right choice, the easiest choice. Let's apply this. Your goal is to learn 5 new English words every day. Where is the prompt? Don't hide your vocabulary list in a notebook in a drawer. That is high friction. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Tape it right there. You will see it every single time you brush your teeth. That is a prompt. You want to read 1 page of an English book before bed. Don't leave the book on the bookshelf with all the others. That's friction. You have to find it. Instead, put the English book on your pillow. When you go to bed at night, you will have to physically pick it up to get into bed. That is a powerful, unmissable prompt. You want to practice guitar? Don't keep it in its black case, in the closet, under your bed. That is so much friction. You have to get it out, open it, tune it. You'll just say, "I'll do it tomorrow." Instead, buy a cheap guitar stand. Put the guitar on the stand in the middle of your living room. You will trip over it. Every time you walk by, you will see it. It will be prompting you, begging you to play it. You will be far more likely to pick it up and play for 2 minutes. And you can do the opposite for your bad habits. You can increase the friction. You want to stop wasting so much time on your phone? Don't just rely on willpower. Willpower is weak. Design your environment. Log out of your social media apps so you have to type your password every time. That's friction. Move those distracting apps off your phone's home screen. Put them on the 3rd page, inside a folder. That's more friction. Even better? When you need to focus, put your phone in another room. Now you have to physically stand up and walk to get it. That is massive friction. You want to eat less junk food? When you buy it, don't leave it on the counter. Put it on the highest shelf in your pantry, at the back, in a container you can't see through. You are making the bad habit invisible and difficult. You are making the good habit obvious and easy. This is how you stop fighting your own brain and start working with it. There is another incredibly powerful way to create a prompt, and it's one of my favorites. It's called habit stacking. This is another idea from James Clear. The idea is brilliant. You link your new, desired habit to a habit that you already do every single day. Your brain is already wired for your current habits. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth. You don't have to find motivation to make your morning coffee. These are automatic. They are on autopilot. You can use these strong automatic habits as the trigger for your new, tiny habit. The formula is very simple. After I, my current habit, I will, my new, tiny habit. Let's create some examples together, focusing on our goal of learning English. What is something you do every single morning without fail? Let's say you make coffee. That is your strong current habit. Your new tiny habit is review 10 vocabulary flashcards. So, your habit stack is, after I press Start on the coffee machine, I will review my 10 flashcards. Where do you keep the flashcards? Right next to the coffee machine, of course. You are using environment design and habit stacking. The old habit, making coffee, becomes the prompt for the new one. Let's try another one. Current habit. I brush my teeth at night. New tiny habit. I will write one sentence in my English journal about my day. The stack. After I put my toothbrush down, I will write one sentence in my journal. Where is the journal? Right by the toothbrush. What about listening practice? Current habit. I commute to work on the bus. New tiny habit. I will listen to 5 minutes of an English podcast. The stack. As soon as I sit down on the bus, I will press play on English in Fluency. This is so much more effective than just saying, I hope I remember to study later. You are building the habit directly into the structure and architecture of your day. You are making it automatic. Let's pause and think about this for a moment. I want this to be very practical for you, the listener. Think about your own day. What is one habit you do every single day, without fail? It could be washing your face. It could be packing your lunch. It could be changing out of your work clothes. It could be waiting for the microwave. Now, think of your one tiny 2-minute English goal. Maybe it's reading one news headline in English. Maybe it's saying one English sentence out loud to yourself. Now, let's stack them. After I wash my face in the morning, I will look in the mirror and say one positive sentence in English. After I take off my shoes when I get home from work, I will read one English news headline on my phone. After I sit down for lunch, I will learn one new phrasal verb. This is how you build a system. You stop relying on finding time, and you start making time by linking it to what you already do. Now, we have to talk about the most important part of this whole journey. We have to talk about failure, because you will miss a day. It is not a possibility. It is a guarantee. It is inevitable. Inevitable, inevitable, is a great word that means it is certain to happen. You cannot avoid it. You will get sick. You will have a family emergency. You will have a terrible, exhausting day at work where you get home and just collapse. You will simply, completely forget. And on that day, you will not do your tiny habit. This is the single most critical moment in your entire journey. This is the moment that separates people who succeed from people who fail. Because this is where most people stop. They fall into that trap we mentioned earlier, the all-or-nothing mindset. They think, I did it! I learned my 5 words for 20 days in a row. I had a chain. But I missed yesterday. I broke the chain. I'm a failure. I knew I couldn't do it. I'm useless. I might as well just give up. This way of thinking is a trap. It is the enemy of all progress. Missing one day is an accident. It's just life. But missing 2 days, that is the beginning of a new, bad habit. So, the most important rule of all, the rule that you must write down, is this. Never miss twice. You missed yesterday? That's fine. You are a human being, not a robot. Life is messy and unpredictable. The first thing you must do is forgive yourself. Do not judge yourself. Do not shame yourself. That shame and guilt will just push you back into the vicious cycle of procrastination. Instead, just see it as data. Okay, I was too tired yesterday. That's interesting information, but your only goal for today, your absolute #1 priority, is to get back on track. It doesn't matter if you do it perfectly. It doesn't matter if you do the full habit. Just do something. Your habit was to read 1 page. Today, just read 1 sentence. Your habit was to learn 5 words. Today, just learn 1 word. Your habit was to walk for 10 minutes. Today, just put your shoes on and walk to the driveway. Your goal is not to be perfect. Your goal is to not let one off day turn into two. You must show up and cast your vote, even if it's the tiniest vote imaginable. The person who succeeds in the long run is not the person who never fails. That person does not exist. The person who succeeds is the person who gets back on track the fastest. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for the first of the month. That is just tomorrow in disguise. Forgive yourself and start again now. Let's summarize what we've talked about today. This was a long and deep conversation. We started by admitting that our big, ambitious goals are wonderful, but they are often overwhelming. They scare us. And this fear, this stress, causes us to procrastinate, to put our dreams off until a magical day called tomorrow that never actually arrives. We learned that procrastination isn't laziness. It's an emotional response to stress, fear of failure, and perfectionism. We learned that the secret to breaking this cycle is to stop focusing on the giant, scary goal. Instead, we must focus on a tiny, daily, consistent action, a habit so small it takes less than 2 minutes. We learned about the incredible compound effect, the idea that these tiny 1% improvements add up over time to create remarkable, life-changing results. We talked about the ice cube. The breakthrough at 0 degrees is only possible because of all the invisible work done at -5, -4, -3, and -1. We learned about the valley of disappointment, the dangerous place where we quit because we can't see the results yet. We followed the stories of Clara, who wrote her novel 1 paragraph at a time; Ben, who became a runner by first just putting on his shoes; and Sarah, who learned to manage her anxiety 3 breaths at a time. We learned that the deepest, truest goal is not just to get a result, but to change our identity, to become an English learner, a writer, a healthy person. We do this by casting a vote for that identity every time we complete our small habit. And finally, we learned the practical how-to tools. We make it easy with the 2-minute rule. We make it obvious with environment design, like putting the book on the pillow. We make it automatic with habit stacking, like, after my coffee, I will learn my words. And most importantly, we learned the rule for failure: never miss twice. You are here, right now, listening to this. You have been listening and concentrating for a long time. You are actively practicing your B2 English skills. This is not passive. You are already doing the work. You are, at this very moment, casting a powerful vote for your identity as an English learner. You are proving to yourself that you are the type of person who is dedicated, curious, and committed to improving. This is your small habit for today, and you are succeeding at it beautifully. So, my challenge to you is this: stop waiting for tomorrow. Stop waiting for motivation to strike you like lightning. We now know that motivation is not the cause of action, it is the result of action. You have to start first, and then the motivation will follow. I want you to choose one thing, one tiny thing. A habit so small you cannot fail. What will it be? Will you write 1 sentence in English? Will you read 1 paragraph? Will you listen to this podcast for just 2 minutes? Choose your one tiny 2-minute habit. And now, for our call to action. I truly want you to do this. I want you to go to the comments section below this audio or video, and I want you to write down your new tiny habit. Make it public. Use the formula if it helps. After I, my current habit, I will, my new tiny habit. Or you can just write, my tiny habit is, By writing it down, you are making it real. You are making a public promise to yourself and to this wonderful community. It's a powerful first step, and I want to read them. I want to see what you are all committing to. Let's inspire each other with our small steps. And of course, if you found this episode helpful, if it gave you a new way to think about your goals and your life, please show your support. The easiest way to do that is to subscribe to our channel, English in Fluency. It's a small click for you, but it makes a huge difference for us and helps our community grow. We are here every week, practicing our listening, building our confidence, and learning together, one small step at a time. And please, share this episode. Share it with a friend, a family member, or a coworker who you think might also be stuck waiting for tomorrow. Sometimes, one small idea, one new perspective, can be the prompt that changes someone's entire life. Thank you so much for your time and for your wonderful attention. I'm Alex, and remember, you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a huge burst of motivation. You just need 2 minutes. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start small and start today. I'll see you in the next episode.